Welcome to episode 102 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. We've talked a lot about organizations and the potential dangers of joining. Current events have really brought that to the forefront. In any organization, there are relatively few people at the top and many more followers. This applies to all organizations, be they the government, the heads of churches, or the heads of opposition groups. The power that those at the top wield is the ability to mobilize their members to do what the people at the top cannot or will not do on their own. Let's take Texas and the 6-week abortion ban. Instead of directly challenging Roe v. Wade, Texas politicians have done an end run and set up a system that allows private citizens to enforce their ban by giving them the right to sue each and every person involved in an abortion. Well, except the men who caused it. But anyway, private citizens can sue each person for $10,000 after the arbitrary 6-week limitation. So instead of forcing a law that would surely be challenged, they made private citizens the enforcers. The Supreme Court, which contains many members who are not in step with the current thinking of those they represent, decided to let it go until it goes so horribly wrong that they have a lawsuit to consider. Keep in mind that this is not being argued before the court or forced to demonstrate its legality. They are going to wait until court cases go all the way up from the bottom to the top before they will even consider it. So what cannot be done legally is being done through vigilante justice. They will circumvent the rule of law and turn their citizens into bounty hunters. The trick is to turn citizens against one another, in this case, for financial gain. This trick is by no means a new one. It has been used since the beginning of time. There are churches that maintain power over their flock by convincing them to rat each other out, and that by ratting them out, they are saving each other's souls. That allows those who control the church to have their hooks in every aspect of their practitioners' lives, something they could not accomplish on their own. Governments that are going dark do the same thing. They tap into their followers' fears and hatred. They tap into all of our frailties in an effort to weaponize us against one another. Humans, being driven by the need to belong and to feel superior, are more than willing to do their dirty work. Well, joining up may feel like the way to get in with the in crowd. What is actually happening is that your weaknesses are being used against you to drag you back down to the lowest levels of spiritual awareness. You are willingly participating in your own spiritual demise. And they don't need to hold a gun to your head to make you cooperate. Your needs and frailties are easy enough to exploit that you will begin your own destruction willingly. So how do you protect yourself in these dangerous times? You have to view everything through the lens of your honesty, integrity, and empathy. Do not follow anyone who is suggesting actions that will harm other people. Do not make choices that support anyone whose agenda is anchored in harming others. Do not do the bidding of anyone else unless you are perfectly clear what they are attempting to do. No matter who you are or what is going on in your life, I need for you to recognize and understand the power you possess. You demonstrate your power through the choices you make. Realize that you are so powerful that others are going to try to exploit you and use you for their own purposes. This is a simple fact of life. And if you are a person who lives in a space of honesty, integrity, and empathy, your power is of even greater value. Anything that you agree to is instantly supercharged simply by its proximity to you. You give it credence. You give it legitimacy. We are conditioned to think that what we can contribute financially is of the greatest importance. But what we align our character with is even more powerful. What we align our actions with is more powerful. What we align our reputation with is more powerful. Protect the core of who you are, the character that you have developed with everything you have. It is your most valuable and fragile possession. Everything that does and will happen in your life, everyone who will be drawn to you, every opportunity that will come your way, these all depend on your level of spiritual awareness. Every choice you make will move you closer to what you desire or further from it. This week, I saw a video of a woman following shoppers around, coughing on them, while taunting with your standard COVID denials. The wild thing is that it happened in a grocery store near my house, a grocery store I used to go to all the time. People in Nebraska are pretty low-key. You don't often see public behavior like what is commonly found in some other states. People here are pretty nice and keep to themselves. This woman was visibly delighted with herself as she harassed and coughed in the direction of complete strangers who she had approached to ridicule about wearing masks. Just for reference, we do have a mask mandate currently in place here. Everyone in the store should have been wearing masks. This was a fight that she picked. For some reason, in this moment, she decided to start something with a woman and her daughter who were minding their own business, shopping for groceries. You have to wonder, what forces are at play that bring people to a moment like this? We know that there is a ton of disinformation out there about COVID, the objective behind it being difficult to fully understand. The previous president didn't want to publicly acknowledge the virus because he thought it would look bad for him, though he admitted in private that he knew how dangerous it was. But those who took that original lie and elevated it to this current level of insanity have manipulated people into thinking that this denial is the best part of their identity. It makes them somehow stronger and smarter than anyone who believes that there is a worldwide pandemic. It was a solid move because everyone wants to feel stronger and smarter than everyone else. It is one of our many human frailties. And to admit that there is a force that is stronger and capable of outsmarting you, especially when that force comes in the form of a virus, is hard for humans to accept. To accept that requires humility. This planet, as it was created, is an environment that we have forever tried to dominate. It is one that we have applied all our best thinking to in an effort to make it serve our needs. That's not inherently bad. We would never have survived if we had not applied our best ideas to keep us safe and allow for the perpetuation of the species. Our drives to survive and procreate are the reasons that we're not all crouched down in dirt caves right now. They're the reasons that we have all that we have, both the good and the bad. But it takes both intelligence and humility to understand that the natural world, as the Creator designed it, has many challenges that we will continue to struggle to meet, a virus being one of them. Viruses are also driven to survive. They have innate intelligence that gives them the ability to adapt to their environment and make any changes they need to make to continue to survive and thrive. That is hard for people to wrap their brains around. Something that you can't see with your naked eye has also been given the drive to survive and the intelligence to figure out how it needs to change to do just that. It is a humbling thought, and humility is an attribute that is part of being at the higher levels of spiritual awareness. It is not an attribute that is built into each and every human. Humility, like all other character aspects, is something that is developed. The development of humility is often a byproduct of humiliation. The woman who was coughing in my local grocery store has predictably been identified. So has her employer. The last I read, they were rethinking their relationship with her. Her decision in that moment of doing ordinary grocery shopping, her decision to behave in a deplorable manner towards total strangers, will have major life-altering consequences. It's not that she couldn't reasonably anticipate what the outcome could be. There are others who have forged this same path. They have been publicly outed, fired, ostracized, and even jailed. This is not uncharted territory. The company that employs her is now being asked, in a very public way, if this behavior aligns with the values of their company. It is hard to imagine that what she brings to the job is of greater value than the hit their reputation will take if they excuse her behavior. The store in which she was shopping will be asked if they are okay with their customers being subjected to harassment and abuse, and whether they will enforce the mask mandate that is in effect. All of her family and friends will be asked if her behavior aligns with their character. She has created a mess not only for herself, but for everyone else connected to her. But in that moment, she was so sure of herself. She was so delighted with the abuse she was dishing out. She was getting a real charge out of the whole situation. She was smug and self-satisfied. She was the opposite of humble. A minute before this woman began what will be her descent into darkness, there is nothing that anyone could have said to her that would have made her rethink any of it. It truly makes me sad to see this, but all I can say is that she has chosen this time for her lessons to be delivered. She chose the moment when her gaps in awareness would be on display for all the world to see. When you demonstrate your lack of understanding, the system does what it is designed to do. It creates the response that will lead to your greater understanding. We can't give the answers to those who aren't ready to pass the test. They have to learn the lesson in whatever manner is necessary to make them see. The lessons will all be delivered. Everyone will continue to grow. That is the point of being here. We may wince when we watch someone blow up their life with choices that reveal the gaps in their awareness, but this woman is getting off easier than many. She may be an unemployed social pariah before the week is out, but she will most likely still be alive. Many others are not getting off that easy. Many are riding this disinformation train all the way to the morgue. There are some who understand the error of their ways right before passing to the other side, and some who will still be clinging to it when they arrive there. That's the crazy thing about how we humans cling to whatever it is that we use to construct our identity. We go through a series of choices of who we want others to think we are, and then we decide to defend that to the death, the literal death for many. The identity that we construct is usually based on what we think others will approve of instead of our own vision for our greatest self. It is already false, since it is rooted in external validation. But who would we be if we decided to construct our identities only on honesty, integrity, empathy, and humility? I suspect that we would be less likely to be members of any group. There are no groups that can pass that litmus test because all groups are designed to gain and maintain power. All groups share commonality with viruses. They have the drive to survive and thrive. They do whatever they need to do to not become extinct. They both need to use others to replicate and spread. Look at how those with bad intentions, those at the lowest levels of spiritual awareness, have spread their darkness and insanity through using the bodies of anyone who would let them in, anyone who dropped their guard. Look at how easy it was to take otherwise reasonable people and turn them into weapons. And to cling to their newly adopted identity, they are willing to destroy the life they had built, damage their personal relationships, and even die for the cause. That is some powerful stuff. The collective culture, which can be measured by the average level of spiritual awareness of everyone who it includes, has taken a real hit in the last 6 years or so. So many people have lost their footing and been dragged back down to the lowest levels. Sit tight. Silently observe the lessons as they are delivered. Do not allow them to ignite the darkness in you as a response. There is no way around it. All the lessons must be delivered. Thanks for returning for another week of Rebirth Revolution. The world around you is unfolding exactly as it must. We are being shown all our weaknesses so that we may grow and make better choices. It is all for the good, though it is extremely rough to observe and live through. You can always let me know how you're doing by emailing rebirthrev@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. We can be found on all the podcast apps and all the music apps that have podcasts, along with full episodes playing on YouTube and our Facebook page. It helps others find us when you rate and review the episodes. Until next week, observe how the lessons are being delivered. Observe how many people are affected by one person's choice. Get vaccinated if you haven't already, and wear a mask. And find peace wherever you can. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and open to a new identity.